Hey folks, Mike Stoffergen here with Showstopper Sequences. I've been playing with a concept for a couple of months here, and I thought it was time to start sharing it with people because folks are looking towards their next show. And this is something that you might find useful. So I thought I would go over what I call focal point groups. Well, as you can imagine, focal point, what we're talking about is creating a group that draws your audience's attention to a specific part of your display or a display element or model that you have. So it's basically just a grouping of models that's designed to highlight a specific model or even area of your display. But ultimately what it does is it's going to make sequencing easier for you. Now, the problem, and this is what got me thinking about this, was that I was finding that I would drop something on the whole house and then I would spend some time adjusting the effect to get it pointed to where I want. Specifically, I've got a starburst kind of a little bit to the right and up from the center of my display. And so every time I would drop an effect onto my whole house, for example, this is a fan effect, and I've got a single color. I've got, let you take a look at it here. There's 8 blades. Width is set at 19. Basically, it's just a kind of a star pattern that goes across the whole house. And then what I'd have to do is I would have to adjust it each time, setting the parameters so that it would focus in on the starburst. Now, I have already created a focal point group. Let me show you what happens when I take that effect right there and just drop it onto the focal point group. And all I'm going to do is highlight that, use the arrow key to move the same thing down. Okay, I'm moving it down, and you'll see there that it automatically adjusts. Now, the center of that grouping is the starburst, and I have not included the starburst in that because I'm going to have the starburst doing something different. For example, I'm going to take that same fan effect there. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go down to my starburst. I'm going to paste it. I'm going to add a color. And I am going to increase the width so that it fills the same thing. And you can kind of see there what the effect is doing. Now, because the starburst is uneven, I have to adjust the Y a little bit so that we get it right in the center. Okay, and the net effect of that is now we have the starburst doing something cool, and the rays coming out from it are actually highlighting it. All right, so that's in essence what a focal point group will do for you. You've just got to create the group, delete from the grouping the focal point element or elements, and then you can just drop your effects on it, and it will save you a lot of time, and it'll make your audience focus their attention on whatever it is that you want them to focus their attention on. Okay, let me show you how easy it is to create a focal point group. Get over here. I am going to change discard those changes. All right, so you're going to go out to your Layout tab, and what you want to do is you want to highlight everything that you want to be in your focal point group. So I'm going to grab these models. Looks like we've missed a couple, so I'm going to grab those by holding down the Control key and then clicking on them. Okay, so now I have everything in there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my focal point. And that's it right there. So I'm going to take that and I am going to delete that from it by clicking on it twice. Now you'll see that the group is everything in the display minus my focal point element, that starburst. That's the only thing that is not in there. All right, now I'm going to go over to, I'm going to right click, and I'm going to create a group. And I just use the abbreviation FGP for, FPG for focal point group. And then I'm going to say what's the focal point, starburst. Now the reason why I name it that way is because you can create other focal points. For example, you could create a focal point here where it's just the mega tree and the mini trees. And what you could create as the focal point, maybe the star, maybe the tree itself. It's really up to you what you want to focus people's attention on. But what that does is it allows you to do that. Now, you'll see here, this is important because you've got to do this to make this work properly. You've got this red crosshairs in the center. What that is the actual center. Now what you're going to have to do is come over to the left side and you're going to have to adjust your X center offset and your Y center offset. Now I've done this before for the starburst, so I know that those figures are 137 for the X offset. And you'll see there that it moved the crosshatch over to 137, which is kind of directly the center of that. And the Y center offset is 920. And when I do that, you'll see there, now the crosshatch is in the direct center of the starburst. All right, so that has changed the center of this grouping to that point right there. And that's why it works when you take just something like a fan effect or whatever, you drop it on the whole house, it's going to be at 50-50 right in the center of your display. But if you drop it onto the focal point group, now the starburst is going to be your focal point. All right, so it's real easy to create them. You know, you can have as many groupings as you need. And again, I think this is one that will definitely make it easier for you to do your sequencing. So it's great for focusing attention, creating emphasis, and creating drama in your display. And as I said earlier, it can be used for smaller groupings. It does not have to be whole house. So that's what a focal point group is. That's how you create it. That's what it can do for your sequencing. I hope you find this useful and helpful as you get ready for your next show. Be sure to check us out at www.showstoppersequences.com. And thanks for watching.